Do not get caught wearing shoe lifts. I made a video like about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago about shoe lifts, how I got them. It was kind of like poorly made, so I'm just gonna like remake it because like I've pretty much like had them for about like almost a month now, just like having fun with them, because why not have something they'll do, because like I'm bored half the time, might as well just like play around with these fucking shoe lifts. And here's the thing too, like as I've said before, like I recently discovered that I'm not actually 6'2". And it's insane, like the extent that mothers will go to cope when they find out like something like that, like when this dude said I was 5'11" and 1/8, my mom just couldn't like cope with it. Like she was just like mortified. She's like, no, you're 6'4". My mom like swears on her life that I'm 6'4", and like of course she's gonna say that, because my mom is like 4'11" to like 5 foot, and of course like I'm gonna look huge. And she's like, oh, I'm just gonna keep telling people you're 6'4". It's like, how embarrassing that shit is, because like that's like a 5-inch difference that like is so noticeably obvious. Can you imagine a dude who's 5'11" saying, yeah, I'm 6'4", bro? Like, I don't know, man. But we even tried, like after that, my mom, like we kept like arguing about it again, something so stupid, just a dumb argument. And I tried to tell her, like, yeah, it's fine. It's like, I'm still the same person I always was. It's not like I shrunk. Like, I don't even care about my height. Like, I'm satisfied with my height. I just wanted to prove a point, that I'm not actually 6'2". And she's like, oh, we'll see. So she tried to measure my height, with the tape measure. And she put the fucking book, like, she put a book on my head. And she kept, like, pushing it up so the mark would be higher. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Still, like, it still wasn't even anywhere close to 6'2", let alone 6'4". And she's like, oh, no, trust me, you're tall, you're 6'4", you're 6'3". Okay, 6'3". And it's like, oh my God. Because I guess, like, even too, like, she was looking at it from a different angle because she's short. She was looking up at it. I was eye level with it. And I'm like, yeah, I am nowhere near 6'2" at all. I don't know where the nurse got that from last summer, but I am nowhere near that, And, like, here's the thing with my height, too. I feel like I'm such, like, at a height where it's a good height, it's a decent height to where you're not going to get made fun of, but it's also not, like, an amazing, like, halo effect height where, like, people will stop and stare at you or notice you or, like, anything like that. Like, 5'10" to 6 foot, it's, like, an average tall, if that makes sense. Like, no one's going to go out of their way to, like, be like, wow, you're tall. Because if you've ever been around somebody who's like legitimately over 6'5", people will stop and ask them about their height and shit, like just make conversation that way. Like if you've ever known anyone that tall, it's like, it's crazy. Like people, like boomers, like mostly will stop and be like, wow, how tall are you? Oh my God. Because it's like kind of rare to see someone who's like 6'5", 6'6". But it's really common to see people 6 foot, like it really is, especially where I'm at. Very common to see people around that like 5'10" to 6 foot range. So it's like, it's not a bad height, but like, it's also not like people are gonna like go crazy over it and be like, wow, you're so, because I don't think I've ever been complimented for my height ever. Like I don't think anyone's ever said like, oh, you're tall, except for my grandma or like my family, So like when you're around, like I said, that 5'10" to 6 foot range, it's like you're tall, but you're like kind of not where it's like super tall, But the whole shoeless thing, I was reading this comment the other day. I forgot what the video was on. But this dude, I was laughing my ass off. It was like, I'm 5'3", how tall could I be in shoe lifts? And this dude replied, he's like, oh, you can go from 5'3" to 5'10" using shoe lifts. It's like, what are you wearing? What? You know how ridiculous that would look? Wearing 7 inches of shoe lifts? How would that even be possible? I don't even see how anything over 3 inches is possible with shoe lifts, because like the shoe itself is going to give you like maybe like half an inch to an inch, if that. And the shoe lifts itself, they don't actually give you a full inch, like a single layer, because like your foot compresses and it's not all the way near the back of the lift. Like that's where they advertise it, like at the back. Your foot is not all the way on the back of it, so it's about like 3/4 of an inch you're getting anyway, so it's not fully an inch for like that one layer, maybe 2 layers. I think 2 layers is like an inch, like and you can't even, if you wear more than 2 layers of shoe lifts, it's like gonna be hard to walk. Because like I was like fucking around, playing with it, tried to wear all 4 layers, you know, and then you can't even walk, you know, you can't even walk. So if you're wearing that much too and you get caught wearing that, that's going to be the most embarrassing shit in the world. Like, obviously, like, everyone always says, like, oh, you know, you got to take the shoes off eventually, which, yeah, is right. But, like, I feel like shoe lifts would only be good for, like, social occasions. Like, if you go to, like, a party or, like, a family gathering or something where, like, there's a lot of people, like a nightclub, maybe a bar, I don't know. Well, maybe not a bar, because, like, you'd like, get drunk and, like, fall wearing those shits. It's, like, it is kind of hard to walk a little bit. They do get a little uncomfortable sometimes, so it's, like, again, would you want only about, like, an inch, maybe 2 inches max of height if it's, like, uncomfortable and you have to, like, eventually tell people your real height, you know? Because, like, let's say, like, you have a date, right? You tell her, like, you're, I don't know, 5'9", even though you're, like, 5'7" or something. And she says, okay, let's go bowling. And you have to take off those fucking shoes to put on the bowling shoes. You're what they call fucked, you know? Or let's say she says, oh, let's go swimming. You got to take those shoes off and you're fucked, you know? So, like, again, you're eventually going to have to take your shoes off, you know? And it's going to be so embarrassing. You know, like, people are going to be like, oh, he's wearing high heels. Oh, my God, you know? So, yeah, man, the height pill is just brutal in itself. You know, like, when people call, like, dudes short kings, I'm not even short, and that pisses me off, you know? Short kings, yeah. It's like, fuck that garbage, man. That pisses me off to no end, you know? But, I mean, yeah, like, don't get caught wearing shoe lifts. If you're gonna honestly wear shoe lifts, you might as well only wear, like, at least, like, one layer to, like, where it's, like, not noticeable at all, you know? Or just boots. Like, here's the thing, like, boots, they're probably more comfortable. You know, just wear, like, big combat boots. Get, like, 2 inches that way. Plus, like, I guess, like, you could fit more layers. I really don't know, like, what the maximum amount of height you could get, like, with boots and shoe lifts. But I can tell you one thing, it's not going to be comfortable at all. And, like, when you take your shoes off, like I said, it's going to be such a noticeable difference that you're going to get, like, laughed at. Like, what the fuck is this dude doing? You know? But yeah, man, like, and especially, like, here's the thing, like, I don't know, like, what even would be the point to wear shoe lifts if you're, like, let's say you're, like, 5'2" as a man. Like, what are you even gonna, like, accomplish wearing shoe lifts, you know? And the most brutal thing in the world, too, is, like, myself, like, whenever I wear shoe lifts, like, just to, like, try and be taller than everybody, you know? Just to get mogged by, like, these Gen Z kids, you know, who don't even have shoe lifts, they're just genetically taller. It's brutal, man. It really is. But, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it about shoe lifts. I mean, they are kind of fun to wear, but they do get a little uncomfortable after a while. And, definitely, like, wearing more than 2 layers, maybe, like, 3. Like, if you wear all 4, it's just gonna get harder and harder to walk the more layers you have in. I think, like, the best thing you could do is get, like, those Nike Air Force 1s or, like, those Nike shoes that give you, like, 1.25 inches to, like, 2 inches of height. Like, just from that would be, like, way more comfortable and ideal instead of shoe lifts. Or maybe those with shoe lifts, I don't know. But yeah, that is pretty much it